All right, hello, hello. We're back on Reincarnation tonight. Like, we're actually going back to Reincarnation tonight now that we have actually finished a Requiem for Innocence. Um, Hi, I'm excited. Look at Morgana, she's so cute. Um, yeah, I don't really have an opening. I was going to say something and then I go live and I forget literally everything. But if you're new here, I'm Kels. You're going to hear me a lot. So either that's a good thing or apologies. So let's recap and then just kind of get into it. All right. Happily Ever After began with Michael waking up late to get ready for his first date with Giselle, and she was there too early. We accidentally decided to let me rephrase this accidentally decided to watch Busty Made Paradise and got a nosebleed, watched South Park, got Giselle pumped up on Mad Max, felt underwhelmed by a horror flick that we think was maybe based on our life, like the past life, and stared at Giselle too much to remember the romance flick, which, you know what? Fair. I mean, look at her. How could you not? Then we went for a picnic. In this era, modern medicine lets Michael thrive. Giselle's family is whole, and Michael has a different family. Giselle mentioned seeing familiar faces and floated the idea of a class reunion, but we opted not to actively seek out anyone except Morgana. At the bookstore, we discussed writing a novel about our story, but decided we want to keep it to ourselves and can't write for shit. Giselle lied to her mom so she could stay the night and insisted on cleaning it. Yeah, and quite honestly, it sounded like she needed to. Like, sorry, Michael. Michael is a systems engineer and not the gamer she had a vision of, and they cooked a meal. Then we asked her to live with us. We held hands in bed, and she woke us up with maid role play. Then Morgana moved into the apartment and finally reunited with Michael and Giselle, leading into Fragment. Fragment started with Morgana complaining to Jacopo in a dream field and making him borrow a lute to accompany her singing. They discussed all the shit that went down between them, and she admitted that she didn't want their souls to meet again, but he still loves her no matter how much she hates him. Yeah, and like there's this whole thing now with Morgana and um Jacopo, like they hung out in that like weird, I don't know what you would call it, delusion, I guess, that Jacopo had at the end of the actual Requiem for Innocence. So they decided to stay there for a bit, which is interesting. We'll see if that ends up getting brought up anywhere. I'm a little worried about it. All right, back to Reincarnation. What did we see in Reincarnation? So the last time we were in Reincarnation, which was actually only a couple of weeks ago, Nellie woke Mel up for a violently sugary breakfast, and he turned out to be way more responsible and frugal than she's ready for. Mel gets the sense that his dad is more like a roommate who only cares about him as a way to reconnect with his ex wife and feels like no one sees him as their number one. Nellie struggled with homework and info dumped about an incest show, and Mel picked up on Nellie's blatant attraction to him but hoped it would fade. Mel had doubts about the nature of his own feelings for Nellie and if he's being selfish for wanting her to adore him without the complications of romance. He ended up arguing with his dad about leaving the house and then snapped at when Nellie overheard them, revealing that he resents her side for living in luxury off the child support payments that left him impoverished. She called him dearest Mel, and he admitted that he wishes he could hate her so he wouldn't feel guilty about leaving her. Nellie experienced old thoughts about getting Mel to hate her like he wants without denying her own love for him, so she sneaked into his room, kissed him in his sleep, and confessed her love. Mel felt even more conflict when she ran, but then he heard his inner voice demanding to keep his vow to Michael by rushing after her and laying bare his unfiltered feelings about being a selfish coward. He admitted that he really does want her to be his sister, even if he can't reciprocate the romantic part of her love, and she accepted. Nellie and Mel stopped experiencing the flashbacks after getting this closure and decided to move to Paris, becoming the new tenants. Pauline is Maria's rich friend who refuses to put on a bunny suit to draw in customers, and is Yukimasa's girlfriend who became enamored with Paris. But we did pause to go back to Ascento Dele and finish up a Requiem for Innocence, and now we're back. I now understand why everyone was like, wait a second, you clearly didn't finish that, considering some of the things that came out. But, okay, so Reincarnation. Yeah, there we go. I have too many save slots now. Putting it into perspective like that made me realize how sheltered I was. Which reminded me that once, so long ago I could hardly say when, Maria told me that my naivety would bite me in the butt one day. I thought I was putting in a good effort to be better about that, though. But anyway, back to how I met Yukimasa. Are we going to get a cute love story for them, too? I still don't know exactly how I feel about the two of them, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I was really rooting for them in the second door, but... Oh, poor girl. There's so many people. They're all speaking French. No shit, Sherlock. We're in France. And we went to bars together on our trip here, so what the hell are you freaking out about now? We only went to places popular with tourists then, and everyone was speaking English, not French. And when we had to use French, you handled everything, Maria, so I never actually had to use the language. That's true, it is Yukimasa. How cute could it be? Look, I mean, I assume in this day and age, and I could be wrong here, but we've seen him as like a carpenter type, so I can't imagine he's killing people on the side. Or at least I hope we're not having like a whole Dexter moment. Just side note, I've never seen Dexter, so it could absolutely not be anything like Dexter. I just know he's a serial killer. But this time I'll have to make my order in French by myself? Of course I'm going to get nervous. Yeah, that's kind of the whole point of an immersive language study program. You have to use the language or you'll never get any better at it. You should really be going out on your own and talking to people without accompaniment. I know, but still. I envy you, Maria. You can speak well enough to work here. Come on, girl. You've been studying the language too. I know you can do it if you just go out there and try. Still. Oh, for God's sake. Enough twiddling your thumbs in front of the door. In you go. I'm going. Yeah, that's a good question. The story makes a point of emphasizing that there's something fundamentally different about Yukimasa that it compels him to be violent. Wonder if it carries over to this one. Maybe he just takes out those violent compulsions on, like, nails or something. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you wrap that into a modern-day story. Like, unless he is a secret serial killer, and maybe that's what we all need to be worried about here. This is bad. Where did all those people around Maria come from? I wasn't in the ladies' room that long. Are they hitting on her? I know she can brush a few guys off without breaking a sweat, but... Oh, there's no way I'm getting through them. I guess I'll watch from nearby and wait for my chance. Excuse me, ma'am. May I? What? If this is some lame pickup attempt, I'm not interested. Oh, crap. I wasn't thinking in used English, not French. But he doesn't look like he's from around here either, so there's a chance he understood. Maybe. I love how she's got this whole thing like French people just don't speak English. But the Asian dude, maybe. There we go. Yeah, maybe he's still inherently bloodthirsty, but different experiences have given him better ways to rein it in. Modern therapy. Like, Michael got modern medicine to work for him. Like, I was hoping to pass so I could get to the restroom. He has massive hands. I keep staring at it through the text box, like, what the fuck is that? Before realizing, oh yeah, no, that's just his massive hand. That man has yaoi hands. Huh? I'm so sorry. Not at all. I want to crawl into a hole and die. That made me sound all stuck up and full of myself. He seemed pretty upset too. He didn't even smile once. He's ridiculously imposing and kind of terrifying too. This place is a bust. We definitely shouldn't come back again. Maria's still off talking to strangers. Excuse me, ma'am. May I? Huh? Oh, what is it this time? I was hoping to return to my seat, so if you could please let me pass. Oh no, I'm still standing in the way? I'm so sorry. I swear I'll never do it again. Huh? Did I just hear him laugh? And was it me he was laughing at? My apologies. I didn't mean to laugh at you. You were just so cute, I couldn't help myself. Does Yukimasa have Riz? Like, I get that someone had to, but him? Maybe that's where all the violent tendencies went into. Like, now he's just a fuck boy. Exactly. He's way too scary. It's kind of hot. Look, some things you have to try at least once. Cute. Me? Just to be clear, I'm not trying to flirt with you. But if you continue standing here, I expect others will try talking to you as well. Are you here alone? Oh, no. I came with another girl, but she's kind of preoccupied. I see. Then, would you like to find a seat and talk for a bit? Huh? You mean like me and you? Needless to say, you're free to say no if you'd rather not. No, I mean, it's not that I don't want to. That's a relief. There are a couple of open seats at the counter. Why don't we sit there and I buy you a drink? Yeah, sure. He said he wasn't flirting with me, but, seriously, this man has game. Or at least, he has game in comparison to, like, everyone else here, so... I love how we have Japanese audio in the background, too. Finally got rid of them. God, I don't remember this place being so friggin' busy. I guess it is a Friday night, though. I fucking hate how guys assume you're free game if you're alone. You gotta be at least a Middle Eastern oil tycoon if you want to talk to me. Yeah, go Maria, you have standards. He's gotta be rich as shit. Also, what's taking Pauline so long? Did she get herself... Huh? She's with a guy? Oh, you dumbass. You don't just go along with the guy when he starts making moves. It's time for an intervention before things go tits up. Hold on. She kind of looks like she's enjoying herself. Definitely not like she's gritting her teeth and waiting for it to be over. Well, well, well. Look at you. Guess I'll leave those two alone for a bit. She's not a teenager. She can handle herself. Plus, talking to guys should help her with the language. I think she's talking in English if I remember correctly. Wait just a damn second. She's not even speaking French. Why come here on a language study if you're not going to study? Oh, fuck it. Not even worth my time. I'll just drink by myself. Hey, beer me up, barkeep. There we go, yeah. French sounds a lot more like Japanese than I expected. I know, I kept getting distracted, like, it's hard. Oh, huh. So you haven't been in France very long then. Amusingly enough, I was only transferred here a month ago myself. Oh, neat. Speaking of, a month ago is when Maria and I came to Paris on vacation, which is when I started thinking about moving here. Hmm? So, wait, you're saying you decided on everything and moved to a foreign country in the span of a month? Yep. I mean, yes. My mom was none too, not terribly pleased with me either. But once I set my mind on something, I usually make a beeline for it. No need to be so tense. Please, make yourself comfortable. Uh, If you say so, sure, I'll try. You know, when you first bumped into me, I was kind of scared. But it turns out you're not scary at all. You actually seem really sweet and respectable. Sweet and respectable, you say? I'm flattered. I don't see myself as either. There's also a third possibility here that's happening, which is the racism was just so bad in the past that now that it's not exactly the same, the violent tendencies are gone, which I don't know what that says about any of this, but... You don't? Why not? Oh, I don't know. Just a feeling. Hmm? Oh, I see. My dad did tell me the Japanese were a reserved and humble people. Pauline, girl, how does he have Riz and she has absolutely fucking none? I mean, he is in France, but also, like, we're talking modern France where they see Asian people instead of Middle Ages France, which I can't imagine there was a ton of Asian people there. At the very least, they're not going to call him a beast, so I think that's a little bit of a difference. I don't know how much that description applies to me, but I am surprised you identified me as Japanese. Since I arrived here, most people have assumed I'm Chinese. Not that I particularly mind. Asians are a minority here, and it can be difficult for Westerners to visually distinguish between the different East Asian ethnicities without sufficient exposure. which is why I'm so impressed. My father's Japanese, actually, which is probably why I could. Is this why you kind of look like a modern day anime character, like more than everyone else? Like I love Giselle, but I thought her outfit was bizarre as shit, because it is bizarre as shit if you look at like the construction of it. But Pauline, what the fuck are you wearing? There we go. I want to be half Japanese in another life. My father's Japanese, actually, which is probably why I could. Wow. It really is a small world, huh? Have you ever been to Japan? I haven't, unfortunately, but I absolutely want to someday. Maybe you could teach me Japanese to prepare. I would be happy to. Though, shouldn't learning French be your first priority? Oh, right! I totally forgot! My friend Maria actually brought me here tonight so I could get practice talking to people in French. But I ended up using English the whole time. Everyone I know is so skilled I look even more useless than I already am in comparison. There we go. Giselle's outfit needs a flamethrowing guitar and a shaved head. Look, there is very few outfits that would be not improved by a flamethrowing guitar and a shaved head. I hate to say it. So, you seem incredibly talented in my eyes. You speak your native tongue and English, and once you have French down, that will make you trilingual. Imagine the work opportunities being fluent in 3 languages offers. Meanwhile, I have no confidence in my ability to get a handle on French. Huh? Really? I assumed you were a French pro since you work here and all. Oh, hardly. We all speak English in the office, and I only go to restaurants that serve in English as well. Learning one foreign language was almost the death of me. I don't want to imagine how bad a second would be. Oh, wow. So, what do you do for work? I'm a systems engineer. What? How many systems engineers are there? Do you work with Michael? I primarily develop tools for use within the company. How did you get hired on as their contractor? What? That sounds like difficult work, and not at all what I expected. You're well built, so I was guessing something more physical. I enjoy working out as well. I frequent the gym and also study martial arts. Wow, impressive. I can admire that. If a bad guy shows up, you'll have no problem taking them down. Pauline, don't push it. Don't push it. Taking them down, murdering them, you know. I suppose. Did did I say something? Or was I just imagining the hesitation in his voice? Maybe he's working out for some other reason? I can't think of any other reason he might, though. Maybe he's getting into street fights. Nah, he would never. In any event, if you need help with any manual labor, feel free to give me a call. I can handle just about anything. And seeing as bad guys like to stay away from men built like me, I don't get to use these muscles for much else. So I'd be thrilled if I could put them to use helping a nice young woman like you. Seriously, this man has game. Oh, my apologies. We only just met, and here I am acting like we're friends. I may as well be flirting with you. You are, sir! No, don't apologize. It was a very nice thing of you to say. Yeah, that was definitely my imagination earlier. He's too much of a sweetheart and a gentleman to be involved in anything unscrupulous. Murder. I don't know what that's in reference to, but probably just about anything. Murder. So, assuming that wasn't just you trying to sweet talk me, is it alright if I actually call you if I need something? I just moved here, so I'm drowning in boxes. I'm also going to need to get furniture, and that's a huge pain to do alone. Girl, how... I love her, let me just point out, but, girl has some balls to just be like, hi, random stranger. Would you help me move? The intense charisma makes it even more believable that he's secretly a killer. I mean, look, in the modern day and age, that's how you would get away with it, so... And he's smart if he's actually a systems engineer, like... And of course I'll reward you. I can buy you dinner somewhere or make something at my place. How could I ever turn you down? And don't worry about repaying me. Meeting you is all the reward I need. Okay, you have a lot of practice doing this, don't you? How many girls have you wooed over with lines like that? Huh? I I don't have practice wooing anyone. And why do you sound so tense all of a sudden? Because I'm on guard now. Telling me that defeats the purpose, I feel. I promise you, as difficult as it is to believe, it's rare for me to be so comfortable speaking with a woman at all. This is certainly far from an everyday experience for me. Also, well, to be perfectly honest, this isn't the first time we've crossed paths. Huh? We have? What? More specifically, I've seen you before. You said you were in Paris about a month ago on vacation, right? Well, a month ago, I had a meeting with my boss at a cafe, and I caught sight of you walking past through the window. It left quite an impression, so I remember that moment very well. Okay, that sounds more like a serial killer than literally anything else he's said so far. Like, maybe I'm not in the right mood for romance. I'll give that disclaimer. But if someone said, "Hey, I remember you because I walked by a place you were in a month ago," um, I would leave. I would run, delist my address, get a new phone. Like, what? Uh, uh, are you sure that was me? You only got a glimpse. It could have been anyone. Oh no, did I do something embarrassing and that's why it left an impression? No, not at all. You were just eating something as you walked. Maybe a sandwich? Nothing particularly out of the ordinary. I was what? Oh, no, oh, no, 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 no. You forget about that right this instant. It never happened. You hear me? Huh? Why? I don't see any reason you would. You caught me at my most vulnerable, eating a sandwich alone. I'm so humiliated. It's the carbs alone, that's where it'll get you. If you say so. Still, I don't want to forget that moment. You seem so happy, and your joy was infectious. Aw, just, just so you know, I'm not a glutton. Yeah, that's fair. It's probably easy to remember her when she's the same minority as him. I never said you were. There might also, be the magnetism of the past lives that everyone else has been having, so. Anyway, back to what I was saying. When I saw you then, I felt as though that also wasn't our first time crossing paths. Which is why, when I saw you today, I was determined to talk to you. I only got a glimpse of you the first time, so I'm glad I was able to hear your voice this time. Uh, I. Oh, I see. I know, it sounds like something out of a fairy tale, and probably every pickup artist guide out there, too. I apologize if I scared you or made you uncomfortable. No, don't be. I'm just flustered, is all. And actually, as strange as it sounds, I kind of want to believe it's true, too. I don't want it to turn out to be just some cheesy pickup line. I mean, how romantic would that be? That we have some kind of deeper connection from before we know. It could be fate that brought us together again. You never know. Starting with that encounter, Yukimasa and I bonded very quickly. We exchanged phone numbers. I called him to help with moving stuff. I went to his place to hang out. And in short order, we went from acquaintances to friends to a couple. I'd never been in a relationship before, and I certainly never expected my first boyfriend to be a Japanese man I met while studying abroad in France. And when I told Maria we had begun dating, He's definitely pulling a fast one on you, girl. Either that, or your head's still stuck in the goddamn clouds and you're not seeing clearly. You barely even know the guy, Jesus. Don't come crying to me when it goes south. I swear, watching you is going to take 10 years off my life. You can barely even keep your feet on the ground. Exactly, Pauline, you're showing your hand way too quickly. Like, girl, you have a whole 2 friends because you can't speak the language. Like, don't jump into bed with one of them. I can say that as someone who has lived in a foreign country. Like, don't trap yourself there. And then she gave me a big heavy sigh, and that was that. Sometimes I felt like Maria was my mother. I could understand why she was concerned, but I was confident I could tell the difference between a good guy and a dangerous one. Can you? Yukimasa was always such a sweetheart and a gentleman. I was positive I had nothing to be worried about.
Sorry to use you as a meeting place, Maria. And thanks for the ham sandwich.
Don't sweat it. I give you shit sometimes, but I really am bored out of my mind here, and having someone to talk to helps the time pass.
Oh, well, that's a relief. I'll bring some people from my language program sometime then. Have to help get some business in here.
The two of you are such good friends. I almost feel bad about taking Pauline away from you today, Maria.
We'll have to go somewhere together another time, all three of us. I'm sure we'd all have a great time.
Uh, sure, I'll think about it.
That's the most insincere I'll think about it I've ever heard.
Well, can you blame her? I wouldn't be terribly excited about being invited to accompany a friend on a date either.
I just meant it as a fun, casual thing, though.
Yet no one wants to be the third wheel, Pauline.
More like I don't want to spend any more time around him than necessary. But I also don't want to say or do anything to upset Pauline, no matter how much he rubs me the wrong way. Every word that comes out of his mouth feels empty, fake, calculated.
But that's just what my gut tells me. I don't have anything to back it up. And it's not like Pauline would hear me out either way. Once she puts her trust in someone, she's blind to anything that challenges that. Part of me wants to let this run its course and see if that teaches her a lesson, but I'm afraid I'll end up doing a lot worse than just betraying her trust.
Is something on your mind, Maria? You look very deep in thought.
Oh, no, it's nothing. Just thinking about how much of a drag being a third wheel would be. Don't think I've forgotten how you ditched me for him at that bar last month.
I didn't ditch you. And anyway, you were busy talking to other guys at the time. And then after that, you hit it off with that guy at the counter. The one with the wavy hair, was that it?
Excuse me?
On what planet did that look like we were hitting it off? The only thing I'd want to hit off is his nasty mop of a head, ideally straight into a fucking grain thresher. His hair wasn't that messy, I don't think.
Forget about me, though. Can't keep your man waiting forever. Come on, get out of here.
Okay.
Hey, just a sec. Not you, Pauline. The monsieur. I don't mind at all if you call me by my name rather than the monsieur. But yes, how can I help you? What if that was gratin? Maybe. I know, wavy hair, like, I'm over here, like, who has wavy hair? Is that how you could, like, consider Jacopos? Maybe? I don't know. I'm trying to remember, like, who has wavy hair. It's very hard.
You hurt Pauline, and it's your head I'll be ripping off, you hear me?
You wound me. Do I look like the kind of man who would hurt her?
Just covering my bases.
Very sorry if I offended you. Not at all. Pauline has been blessed with very loving friends. You can rest easy. Pauline is in good hands with me. Michael, I guess. Michael doesn't necessarily seem to me to be a bar kind of guy, at least not without Giselle. You have my word.
All right, I'll hold you to that too. Hey, what's the holdup? What are you two talking about?
Oh, nothing important, Pauline. Let's just get going then, shall we?
Yeah, later, Maria.
Your rest easy holds as much weight as a wet paper towel.
I just wish I could put a finger on what about him makes me so uncomfortable.
Hopefully, it's just my imagination.
Ah, it's beautiful out today. There's something about lovely weather like this that makes a lunch taste all the better.
It certainly does, Pauline. Girl, you just had a ham sandwich and now you guys are sitting down for lunch?
What should we do when we're done here? Was there anywhere you wanted to go, Yukimasa?
I want to go wherever you want to go. I love being with you, no matter where that is. Dude, you guys have been dating for like a month now. Come on, man, that's a cop-out. Girl's hungry. Look, I'm not throwing shade at all. Just like, if you know you're going out for lunch, pre-gaming is an interesting choice.
That's what you always say. Is there nowhere at all? We don't have to limit ourselves to Paris either. As long as it's close enough for a day trip, we can go anywhere. So tell me, where do you want to go?
I'm not sure I can come up with something put on the spot like this.
How about we go see a wrestling match then?
It all goes to that chest. Look, sometimes you need to feed the boobs. Or at least that's what I'm guessing, considering the fact I don't have a chest like that. But wrestling. I didn't realize you were a fan.
I'm not. I've never watched wrestling in my life. I've never really been able to deal with rough stuff like that. But you like working out and physical activities and stuff, right? So I thought maybe you'd be into wrestling too.
Oh, I see. You were trying to choose something I would enjoy. I don't have any particular interest in watching sports, though.
No? That's a shame. Well, in that case, I don't know. What should we do? I'm all out of ideas.
There's nothing wrong with just relaxing here in the park. We don't have to be doing something for me to enjoy being with you. In fact, I'd say I like this kind of peaceful time with you the most. That is, if you don't mind the boredom.
No, of course not. There's nothing boring about spending time with you, Yukimasa, no matter what or where it is. Then today's schedule is decided. Lazing about in the park. Hey, Yukimasa, do you have any hopes or dreams for your future?
Mm, I can't say anything comes to mind immediately. At least not until I can be certain work won't interfere with it. What about you?
I sure do. Do you promise you won't tease me for it?
I would never.
What I want most is to spend a nice, quiet life with you.
Okay, I get it's the callback. But why would you say that a month into a relationship? Like, girl went from 0 to 60 in no time.
I don't need anything extravagant. Just an ordinary life. Slowly growing older. Having 3, maybe 4 children. We'd never fight, and eventually, before I knew it, I'd be an old lady. Thinking, it was an uneventful life, but it was the best I could have asked for.
Yeah, first relationship, no prior experience. Yeah, for anyone else who is brand in, their first relationship or has not been in a relationship yet, bringing up 3 to 4 children within a month of dating will have most sane people running immediately.
That's the life I.
Pauline?
What? Oh, sorry. I kind of spaced out there for a second. I get the strangest feeling that I've said something like that before.
Is that so? I'm not the first man you've used that on.
As if! You're the first guy I've ever dated, Yukimasa. It must just be deja vu or something. Wait, do you think I'm lying? That I have been with other guys before?
Oh no, I would never accuse you of being dishonest. It just struck me as unusual. Because I feel as though I've heard those words before as well.
I know this might make me sound like a little girl with her head in the clouds. But do you believe in reincarnation? If somehow it is really real, then I suspect we may have known each other in a past life. Wouldn't that just be the most wonderful thing? Imagine that. A bond so strong it transcends even death. It would make us soulmates, literally. How romantic. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting too weird, aren't I? You have to be crazy to believe in reincarnation and fate in this day and age. But I still think it's a nice thought.
That it is, Pauline. I cannot imagine anything more beautiful than us being bound by fate.
Yukimasa.
If by some chance reincarnation is real, and our paths have crossed in previous lives as well, then the universe has a wicked sense of humor. Soulmates? Or anything but. I'm the ball and chain that drags your soul down to damnation. You would have to be cursed to be stuck with me for so long. There's no other explanation. Dude, what are you doing? What you doing, man? What are you hiding? A fate that has nothing to do with me hacking you up with a sword. Absolutely nothing.
Maybe that was too lazy of a day. Even managed to sneak a nap in there. Today we're both sloths.
There isn't much daylight left. Let's get something for dinner and head home, shall we?
Ah, I have an idea. Can we go to the grocery store instead? I want to make dinner for you tonight.
Now that sounds like a wonderful idea.
Oh, we're back. Thanks for carrying the bags.
It's my pleasure. I feel like this is a lot of groceries, though. More than you need to make one meal.
Yeah, it kinda is. I realized about halfway through, but couldn't stop. There's just so much stuff I want to try, I can't help but throw it all in the cart.
It's fine. Whatever we don't use can go into the freezer. So, what are you making? You still haven't told me.
Well, not telling. Anyway, I'm borrowing your kitchen. You just wait at the table and relax. I don't need any help.
Uh, all right then, if you insist. I'm a little scared about what she's going to come up with, I'm not gonna lie. Pauline's never made anything for me before, and frankly, I have trouble imagining her spending much time in the kitchen. Well, I'm sure it'll be fine, unless something goes horribly wrong. There we go.
I definitely didn't get enough groceries to feed me and any triplets. Ah, it's shooting fire!
Huh? Are you okay, Pauline?
Well, there were some minor mishaps, but dinner is served.
Indeed, there were. For certain definitions of minor, I suppose.
I didn't burn your place down, so all's well that ends well. Now dig in before it gets cold.
Before I begin, may I ask what it is you made?
Huh? You can't tell? I wanted to make something Japanesey for you, so I did a beef and potato stew, miso soup, and white rice.
I see. I thought it was porridge, chili, and a brown mystery goo.
It doesn't look very appetizing, no, but I promise it tastes good. I tried it myself.
I trust you, I trust you. Well, here I go.
So, what do you think?
It's not bad. Thank you, Pauline. Thank goodness I didn't have to lie to her about that. It is a bit on the strong side, and will probably raise my blood pressure, though. Out of curiosity, what sauce did you use in the stew?
I just followed the recipe and used Worcester sauce.
For a traditional beef and potato stew, you're supposed to use soy sauce. Do you have that here?
Huh? Really? We do, but it only said sauce, so the thought never crossed my mind.
It still tastes quite good, though. It's just more of a Western flavor instead of Eastern. Yeah, there we go. Needs more blood.
What?
Needs more iron and protein. 100%. That's it.
But I was trying to remind you of your home in Japan. I'll do better next time, so please give me another chance.
Of course. I'm looking forward to it.
I want to do everything I can to please you, Yukimasa. So if there's anything you want, please don't hesitate to ask.
Tell me, Pauline, how are you?
How am I what?
Never mind. Forget about it.
Huh?
How are you able to love me as much as you do? Yeah, that seems like a weird question out of nowhere. That's not even a fair question. She's so taken with me because I'm pretending to be exactly the kind of man she wants to be with most. Yet maybe that's not how to do a relationship.
It's gotten late, huh? So, I was, I was thinking tonight we could.
Yes, you're right. We should call it a night. I'll take you home.
Uh, I. Is it okay if I stay the night? I mean, it's been 2 months since we started dating, but we still haven't stayed the night together. So, you know.
I'll take you home, Pauline.
Do you not want me to stay the night, Yukimasa?
Oh no, that's not it at all. I would love to have you. But I'm sorry, I have some other business to attend to this evening, so we'll have to make arrangements for another time. That is the most, business, bullshit I have ever heard. There we go. That grocery has a special sale on condoms. Exact, like literally the only way he could have made it worse was, I'm gonna give you 15 minutes back in your day as long as you go home.
Okay, yeah, that's all right. Wouldn't want to get in the way of your plans. Thank you.
We're just casually planning a murder tonight or something. Exactly, the business is probably murder.
I can make it the rest of the way from here. Thanks for walking with me, Yukimasa.
I'll walk you all the way. It's late. Better to be safe than sorry.
You're such a worrywart. It's barely even 9 and we're in the city. I'll be just fine.
More people doesn't always mean safer. But all right, just try to stick to large, well-lit roads. Don't go down any dark alleys, understood? There's been an uptick in sightings of shady-looking gangs prowling about lately. Or maybe he beats people to near death like a vigilante but doesn't kill them. Maybe, yeah, I mean, Japanese Batman in France. Perfect. Exactly.
I'll be fine. See you again next weekend. I'll call and text.
See you. Good night and be safe, Pauline.
Night to you too.
I love how they're over here talking about spending the night together, but apparently neither one of them says I love you yet.
I have other business to attend to, so we'll have to make arrangements for another time. Yukimasa didn't seem to realize it, but he'd chased me out with almost the exact same line on several other occasions. I'd even asked him what business he had, but he would never give me specifics, just that it wasn't important. At first, I assumed he was being a gentleman and trying not to rush into things, or that he genuinely did have something else to take care of. And it wasn't like I thought he was lying now, but there was only so many times I could take being turned down the same way. Before I started thinking maybe he didn't like me at all. Or maybe he had something to hide. Everyone has skeletons in their closet, things they don't want people to find out about. I wasn't going to ask him to spill everything to earn my trust. I wanted to be reasonable as much as I could. I didn't want to do anything to make him uncomfortable. I wasn't going to chew him out for not telling me every little thing, and I certainly had no interest in getting into a fight with him over it. The less conflict in a relationship, the better. That is not true. Like, girl is very clearly in her first relationship. There we go. Yeah, he's definitely cheating on me with dead people. I was sure all he needed was more time. He would let me stay over when we were a little closer. We'd only been dating for 2 months, after all. It was too soon to get worried. Everything was going to be fine. I repeated that to myself several times and then decided to head home. But for some reason, my legs refused to move.
Exactly. The more maturity you can handle your fights with, the better. Because here's the thing, if you don't have the fight, then the resentment starts, and you can't get resentment back. Like, the second you start resenting someone for something, that just comes up every time you get mad at them. So, you gotta have those fights. I feel like this has become a relationship stream. Pauline's having flashbacks. What? Like, I don't remember Nellie having flashbacks at all. Or maybe she did and I just have forgotten about it. It's a possibility. But
Pauline's having flashbacks. You haven't changed one bit. You won't even give someone the time of day if they're saying anything that contradicts someone you've decided you trust. Something Maria had said to me a long time ago floated up into my mind. Maria always did have trust issues, but she had gone too far that time, accusing him of doing something terrible. So I'd snapped back at her, something I rarely did. Why had that, of all memories, come back to me now, though? I had to trust him, or what was the point? Sure, he could be eerily kind, and he was hard to read from time to time. But if I didn't believe in him, who would? Huh? Wait, I'm confused. Maria never said that to me, did she? I know she's given me other warnings, but I can't think of a single instance in which she told me you haven't changed one bit. My head hurts. The image in my mind of that moment wasn't of the cafe where Maria worked, but a small room in a cottage I had no memory of. It was so vague I couldn't make out much more than that, though. Yet, despite not being able to place the memory, I had the distinct feeling it was something very dear to me. But it didn't end there. You were a woman who is capable of making decisions for herself. I know you are. Yes, you've placed your complete faith in one man, but that hasn't stopped you from considering what you should do with your own life. You were never short sighted. Next came a man's voice I had no recollection of. Who could it have been? And why did it sound like he knew me? What was going on? I was gripped with a sensation I didn't have the words for. There was a man's voice in my head. I didn't know him, but he seemed to know me. To most people, that would probably be unsettling. But for reasons I couldn't explain, the sound of his voice was more reassuring. It felt like a light in the darkness, guiding me away from the path to destruction. Not only my present self, but in me far in the past. Something told me his words were still relevant to me now, though. I'm sorry, Yukimasa. I don't want to dig up your secrets. I just want to be able to trust you. I want to know you better so that I can love you better.
What skeletons are rattling in the closet?
Everyone has skeletons in their closet, things they'd rather people not find out about. But most people's secrets were, in my eyes, trifling matters. Rarely anything more than, oh no, I'm too ashamed to tell anyone. And never anything that would utterly ruin them were it to get out.
I mean, people have those too. Pauline, you're just sheltered.
From a young age, I was conscious of a violent impulse that prowled from deep within, but I had no concept of what it truly was yet. It wasn't until shortly after I entered elementary school that I found a clear understanding of these feelings. I was watching the news one day when, in the middle of a report, the reporter and staff were murdered on live television. The killer seemed to want to be seen, because he deliberately positioned himself such that his face would be visible on camera as he stabbed the reporter again and again.
What was the cameraman doing right then? Just a question.
Screams and shouts filled the air. Someone yelled, "Stop the camera," and the screen went black. It only lasted a matter of seconds, perhaps 10 at most. But still, those images remained fresh in my mind, playing back in an endless loop. Everyone around me acted as though it was some terrible thing never to be spoken of, and perhaps that was the most reasonable response. But it was utterly inexplicable to me at the time. And that was when I first realized that the feelings I had were not feelings others shared with me. I was enamored with that footage. The sounds of people screaming, the sight of them writhing in pain, the hope draining from their eyes. It brought me indescribable joy, ecstasy. So it made no sense to me why it inspired fear in others, why they refused to speak of it. I couldn't imagine not wanting to talk about something so electrifying. But I was the only one who felt that way, who yearned for the sight of more death. Fortunately, or perhaps unfortunately, I had been gifted with a talent for deception. I knew how society expected me to act, and I played the part to a T, all the while nursing a thirst for blood within. I put on a friendly smile while interacting with people, but beneath it I was always wondering, what face would they make as they died? What kind of scream would they regale me with? How would they beg me for their life? I was struck with an urge to shove the person next to me in front of an oncoming train whenever I waited at a platform. I fantasized about violent accidents happening whenever I stood at a crosswalk.
Yeah, you know what? I will give Yukimasa credit for this. These are very much inside thoughts, and he has kept them inside. So, exactly. Some people are just like that. These are definitely inside thoughts.
Whenever I saw a blade, I wanted to eviscerate passersby with it. Whenever I saw a woman with a slender neck, I yearned to strangle the life out of her.
Why a woman? Like, just as a question.
As I got older, the urges only grew more powerful, making even day-to-day life a challenge.
Does puberty affect violent urges? Exactly. They need more help than judgment. Look, shit is fucked up, whether you have been conditioned into it or, it's inherent in you. That doesn't mean anything other than you can be a productive member of society and not hurt people. You just might need help with that.
and that's okay. Fantasy stopped being enough to quench my thirst. If I wasn't careful, I might find myself with my hands actually around someone's neck. More. I needed more than this. I wanted to experience it for myself. I wanted to spill blood with my own hands. I wanted to feel the life fade from someone's body. I wanted I wanted to kill. When my hunger reached its peak, I wondered why I had thought it necessary to restrain myself at all. Was it because I was afraid of getting caught? Because I didn't want to face society's judging eyes? Because I didn't want to cause trouble for my family? None of that was sufficient to hold my thirst at bay. I even began to entertain the thought of letting myself get caught. Going on a killing spree, tasting blood to my heart's content, then sentenced to death and freed from temptation at the apex of my life. It seemed like a sound enough plan. The question was, why had I hesitated to go through with it for so long? Well, no more hesitating. No more waiting. I was going to kill. It didn't matter who, anyone's blood would suffice, so long as it could quench this unending thirst. Exactly. And then the Archangel Michael showed up on my shoulder and said no. But when I stepped out into public, having at last embraced my murderous desires, I heard a voice whisper into my ear. Remember the vow you made. Vow? I did? To who? And when? Where? What on earth was the voice talking about? Utter nonsense, I told myself, and tried to banish it from my mind. But no matter what I did, it kept coming back. And always right as I readied myself to follow through with my urges at that. The sound of the voice paralyzed me, kept my feet bolted to the ground. And worst of all, it seemed to be my own voice. And actually, as strange as it sounds, I kind of want to believe it's true too. I don't just want it to turn out to be some cheesy pickup line. I mean, how romantic would that be? That we have some kind of deeper connection from before we know. It could be fate that brought us together again. You never know. Pauline, this secret that I'm keeping from you is a great and terrible one. And this barely suppressed hunger will eventually break through to the surface. Is that why he won't let her stay? Is because he's afraid he's going to like wake up with his hands around her neck? I have no right to be at your side, to be blessed by your beautiful smile. Like, and I said that with a little bit of like judgment, but there's no actual judgment in it. Like, that's actually probably the responsible thing to do. I just have no way to like fix that. Hi, we can sleep together, but also then you have to handcuff me. And no matter what I say, don't let me out of the handcuffs. Like, yeah, that is what Yukimasa ended up trying with Abby, so, you know. What I want most is to spend a nice, quiet life with you. I don't need anything extravagant, just an ordinary life, slowly growing older, having 3, maybe 4 children. We'd never fight, and eventually, before I knew it, I'd be an old lady. Thinking, it was an uneventful life, but it was the best I could have asked for. That's the life I. There we go. Handcuff me. There is no safe word. Just unlock me in the morning. I know in my mind what the best thing I can do for you is, but so many of my actions are not driven by reason. The sight of her smiling face calms the creature within. Her presence suppresses my savage desires, allowing me to act like a normal man. She is my tether, the chains that keep me fixed to the ground, and she's the only one who can do that for me. But even she can't wholly quell the bloodlust that seethes within. And so now, 2 separate cravings dwell together in my heart: carnal lust and blood, which are weirdly 2 sides of kind of the same coin. So, one is a yearning to surrender myself to my desire, to spread pain and death and horrible suffering. The other is a longing to relinquish myself to the peaceful life she so desires, to share a quiet and uneventful life with her. Each one pulls me in completely opposite directions. They're so fundamentally different and utterly incompatible. I mean, it's been 2 months since we started dating, but we still haven't stayed the night together. So, you know. Do you not want me to stay the night, Yukimasa? Finding her brought me relief, taught me what it was like to live without temptation. But now I find myself dreaming of killing her. My desire is transforming from I want to kill someone, anyone, to I want to murder her specifically. And this is after swearing I would never lay a hand on her. The sight of Pauline sleeping, helpless to protect herself, unfailingly brings with it a hunger to squeeze the life out of her. And that's why I cannot allow myself to spend the night with her. Because when I step past that final line of defense, I will cease to be a man. It's time. Every city has an underbelly, no matter how clean it appears to be on the surface. You can try to put up appearances until the end of time, but hiding your seedy population doesn't get rid of them. Also, in Paris, you really don't have to look very hard, so. And that was the very first thing I looked into when I moved here. Not because I wanted to feel safe in my new home, but the exact opposite. Being the capital of France and a large, populous city, the streets of Paris were naturally kept impeccably clean. Where in Paris are you going? I should point out, like, part of my family is from Paris, so I have spent a lot of time in Paris. Before anyone thinks I'm just throwing strays at a city I've not really been to. I've been to Paris. It was safe enough to walk alone at night, and you were unlikely to encounter any trouble so long as you exercised the bare minimum of caution. These people, whoever wrote this, is going to suffer from Paris syndrome if they ever see it. Um, exactly. I am the one who knocks. So I needed information about the city, enough to guess where crimes were likely to take place, and enough to get there before the police could. Oh my god, we do have Japanese vigilante Batman in France. I'm being followed. From the footsteps, it sounds like two men. Is there a period of time where Paris was known for being clean? Not that I know of. It predates me, if there was, but it's a possibility at some point in history. I just don't know of it. So it's not any time that I can remember, and so that would put it before late 1990s. So this is probably good enough. I came to a stop, comfortable different distance down a poorly lit alley. Turning back, the two young men stood blocking my path. They seemed to be in their late teens, still children as far as I was concerned, but hardened in a way boys their age shouldn't be. They were both fairly tall, around my height, and kept their hands hidden in their jackets. Presumably, they were hiding weapons of some sort, and their mouths were contorted unnaturally into half slack smiles. Even in the poor light, I could make out numerous teeth that were cracked or black with rot. Well, I'm surprised you haven't been swept up by the police yet with mouths like that, you filthy addicts. Okay, well, we're getting right into judgment here. Oh look, Slanty Eyes is trying to talk to us. How about you learn the fucking language first? Right back at you, bitch. I'm surprised you still got your head on your shoulders walking around all alone this time of night. You picked the wrong place to go for a midnight stroll. Or what, you get your dumb ass lost? We'd be happy to show you the way back. Just $1 grand an hour. Why, thank you for such a generous offer. Is that all you have to say? Is this his language practice? Like racism count. Yeah, we have a racism count again. But is this his language practice? Like Pauline goes to bars to talk to people, and learn French. He beats people up is kind of how I'm getting this is working. What? We need to spell everything out for you? Hand over your goddamn money, you dumb fuck. Just fork her over and no one has to get hurt. We ain't monsters. The boys, guffawing like buffoons, pulled their hands from their jacket pockets. As I had suspected, they were armed. The blades had visible bolt to them, double-edged knives. I was surprised they had anything remotely decent on them. They weren't the kind of knives you could buy at a corner store. Maybe they'd gotten them at a hunting shop or from a friend. Part of me wished they had been guns instead. That would have made this more exciting. But I knew that was asking too much of this city. I would have to go somewhere more dangerous for that. I'm gonna let that one slide. Which wasn't to say that the glimmer of their knives didn't excite me plenty. A hot shiver ran up my spine. Ecstasy. A deep gratification surged up within me. I could just imagine how incredible it would feel to tear through someone's flesh with those knives. Why don't you say something, huh? You fucking blind or what? If you don't want to hand it over, then we'll just kill you and take it ourselves. You think you can kill me with only a knife? I would love to see you try. The fuck you laughing at, asshole? Hey, maybe we should back off. Something ain't right about him. There we go. Yukimasa does that Uncle Ero thing with the mugger. Your stance is off balance. This is how you mug a man. Oh. Like hell, you chicken shit. I ain't letting him get away with talking that kind of shit. Fuck no. Oh, what are you waiting for? I'm standing right here. Go on, kill me. Or did you think I would bend over and hand you my wallet simply because you started waving a knife around? You make a mockery of me. We are speaking French, right? If you're not prepared to use the knife to take another man's life, then I suggest you put it back in the kitchen. It's perhaps a bit excessive for everyday use, but at least you can peel fruit with it. A fine idea, wouldn't you say? Gah, I've had enough of your bullshit, Slanty. You're fucking dead. The hoodlum made a dash for me, and a beat later his companion followed suit. I didn't waste a second either. With my eyes fixed on them, I took a step backwards, lifted my leg, and made as if I were to kick them. But instead, I threw my foot into a pile of garbage, launching it into the air. Shards of a glass bottle flew towards the first one's face. On its own, it was an ineffectual attack. He could shield himself, and anything that would hit was unlikely to cause significant harm. But the split-second distraction it created was what I wanted. I closed the distance between us and pivoted around to his side. With one hand, I grabbed him by his outstretched arm, the other his collar, and then I swept his feet out from under him. As tall as he was, his drug-atrophied frame put up little resistance, doing a clean 180 in the air before face-planting the asphalt. A look of horror spread across the other man's face as he continued his charge. He had lost a great deal of momentum, however, and the arm holding the knife had gone slightly slack. So rather than retreat, I stepped toward him, and then I bent myself backwards to avoid the blade at the last second. He screeched to a halt, then made as if he was going to turn around, but before he could, I planted my elbow into the nape of his neck. The man let out a pathetic yelp, like a frog being run over by a car, then crumbled to the ground. As soon as he hit the ground, I slammed my foot into his wrist, sending the knife spinning off into the distance. And then I did the same to his partner. Fuck, what the hell are you, man? Okay, you win, we'll leave you alone. So let us go. Ah! Absolutely pathetic. That fight was so dull I'm about to fall asleep here. Was that honestly the best you could manage? The man tried to get up, so I stomped on his back. Apparently, he was more than just physically slow. You'll leave me alone? You must understand, my boy. Yes, you're the ones who attacked me. But I'm the one who baited you into it. Why on earth would I let you off with just a few bruises? Oh, no, no, no. You're my prey. The hell's this guy's deal? I knew something was wrong with it. The other man made an attempt to escape, so I planted my foot in his face. But it seemed I put too much force into it. He crashed into the wall and then slid limply to the ground. Hey now, you can't make any sudden moves or my instincts will kick in. I knocked him unconscious. What a shame. The man's nose was shattered, his face covered with blood, and his eyes rolled back. Gravity was the only force left acting on his body. For a second, I was afraid I had killed him, but I could see his chest rising and falling, and his fingers twitching slightly. That was fine then. I had no intention of killing either of them after all. You know, dude, you could just get into street fights and win money doing this. Like, legally. Not just beating up drug addicts who are trying to mug you. All I wanted was to see a little blood. From people nobody would mind seeing a little beaten up. Your friend's down, so that leaves you to entertain me. I grabbed the man by the back of the head, paying no heed to his squirming. Fucking fuck! And slammed his face into the asphalt. Thick blood dribbled from his nose. There wasn't much yet, so it was probably my imagination, but I felt as though I was enveloped in its sweet, coppery aroma. Endorphins flooded my brain, drowning out my reason. But a small fragment of that reason, that humanity, managed to stay above the surface to admonish me. Do not kill him. Do not break your vow. Do not become a murderer. Do not become a murderer. I almost said murmurer, and that just felt like it was not right. You chose the path of imperfection and conflict, of humanity. Yeah, you don't have to remind me. I'm not going to kill anyone. I just need to not cross that line, right? Taking care not to knock him out entirely, I pounded the man's face into the asphalt again and again and again. Listen, I don't want to get into crazy street fights over who's the strongest guy around, and I don't want to experience the thrill of participating in a fight club. Please, please, let me go. All I want is to endlessly brutalize helpless insects like you. Again and again and again and again and again and again. You're going to kill me. You're too much a waste of human flesh for anyone to care, even if you come crawling to them battered and bloody. Yeah, beats up criminals but refuses to kill. He really is Japanese Batman. Like, literally. Except for the fact that, like, Batman at least wore a mask. If anyone goes to the police about this, which granted, the fact that he's choosing criminals who are trying to, they're the ones making the first move, it's kind of, I doubt it would do anything, but also, how many Japanese guys or even East Asian guys are there in Paris at whatever time period this is? Like, there might be a significant number, but it's going to be a lot less. It's an identifying feature. At least wear a mask, man. If you're gonna commit crimes, and I know I've said this on this stream before, if you're gonna commit crimes, don't fucking get caught. Screams echoed through the dimly lit alleyway. Of course, the biggest waste of oxygen here is me. Help! Someone help me! There we go. The police are too racist to pick me up from a crowd of other Asians. Help? You're the idiot who chose to jump me this far out of the way. No one's around to hear you scream. Glancing down, I noticed my hand was dripping with blood. It had probably splattered onto my jacket as well. I'm going to want to wipe myself down before I go home, I thought as I continued to pummel the man. The scent of blood calmed my raging spirit. The sound of screams and the taste of despair filled my ravenous soul. When his shouts and cries began to falter, I let go of the man's head. Bloody foam oozing from his mouth, his whole body twitched on the ground. I rose to my feet, kicking the man over so I could see his face. Not that it was much of a face anymore. I pressed my heel into his chest, causing a spattering of blood to blow out of his mouth. Help me. Please, don't kill me. The once ferocious man was now begging like a small child to be spared. Yukimasa, have we considered that you may kill him anyways because of lack of blood? Like, just as a question, like, are we still counting it as murder if he dies from after effects? Because I still kind of personally count that, but maybe we're not taking that into account. What, surrendering already? How underwhelming. I haven't had nearly my fill yet. Oh, here's an idea. I wonder what I can do with those knives you pulled on me. How about cutting off your fingers? one by one, until there's none left. Doesn't that sound like so much fun? Please, no more. I'm so sorry. I have no interest in your apologies. In fact, I almost want to thank you for the evening's entertainment. The one thing I could really ask for is you not giving in so soon. I can't. I can't. You're going to kill me. Well, that's terribly unfortunate. And so you know, I've never actually killed anyone. I take great pains to avoid crossing that particular line. Honestly, I don't feel like going all the way would really change much after a beating so severe, but there's a voice inside me that won't let me do that. I used to think it was whatever tiny bit of a conscience I had, but I've come to realize that isn't the case. Tell me, do you have any idea what it is? I have no idea. Help! Don't kill me, please! Of course you wouldn't know. You think I'm some kind of psychopath, don't you? I don't, I promise. So please, have mercy. You want mercy? Then beg for it. Plead like the sad little animal you are. Please, please have mercy. I'll do anything. I'll give you all the money I have. I'm so sorry. I'm begging you, spare me. This is the worst time to get hiccups. I'm so sorry. As you wish. I'm done here. You get yourself to a hospital before you die. And don't you tell anyone there about me. While I doubt they'd give it much stock beyond a scuffle between lowlifes, I don't want to take any unnecessary risks. I feel like telling a man not to tell someone is still an unnecessary risk, but whatever. Literally, this could all be fixed if you just wore a Batman costume through this. The man gave me several rapid nods, then began to crawl away, whimpering. He seemed like he was trying to push himself to his feet, but not having any luck. But I didn't give a damn about what happened to him next. What I needed to do was wipe the blood off me, get home and sleep, and watch to see if any dead bodies showed up on the news over the next few days. I didn't even give the beaten and battered pair a second glance. Yukimasa's the morality scale here is just confounding me. They were the dregs of humanity, and so they were fair game. Of course, as I had told the one man, I was the lowest scum of all. I pulverized men to quench my thirst, but I never killed them. I kept my vow. I wasn't so far gone as to think anything other than murder was okay, though. I knew perfectly well that what I was doing was reprehensible. And still, in spite of that, I yearned for something more. Yukimasa, no, that is bad. Yeah, I think it's safe to say, dude's not doing great things. We'll just put it that way. Letting myself in? Wait, is Yukimasa out? Well, darn. That ruins my plans. Might as well poke around while I'm here. Maybe I'll find something new about him. Pauline, honey, you came here because you want to trust him. He's going to come into your apartment that you've broken into and not be able to trust you. I don't know how else to, like, put this into words. This is a bad idea.
Sorry for sneaking around like this, Yukimasa.
Pauline finds the Batcave.
Only a couple hours earlier, Yukimasa and I had been hanging out together here, talking and smiling and laughing and watching TV, but now it was deathly quiet. I felt a chill in the air as I stood there, all by myself. When Yukimasa had a key made for me, he probably didn't think I would use it to sneak in when he wasn't around. Yeah, I think that would be a reasonable expectation for him. He wouldn't have trusted me with it if he did. And up until today, I'd always gotten in touch before coming over. A surprise inspection like this was a first. Anyway, I need to figure out why he won't let me stay the night. Maybe he keeps all his naughty stuff by his bed but doesn't want me to see it. There's something kind of exhilarating about secretly digging around your boyfriend's house. No, contain yourself, Pauline. I let myself get a little overly worried on the way here because of what that weird voice in my head. But really, I don't have any reason to be concerned. Here goes nothing. Ooh, I spy a DVD case. Do we have a classic case of dirty videos under the bed here? A gore horror B movie? Oh, I was hoping I'd find porn. Wait, why am I disappointed? I'm kind of surprised. Yukimasa never struck me as a gory movie guy. Maybe he secretly spends his evenings binge-watching splatter films. I can understand why he wouldn't want to tell me, but that's hardly enough to scare me off.
Pauline wants to know what porn he likes. You know, quite honestly, I don't think, at least personally, I will go a ways, but the kinky shit he would get into, I don't know that I would be okay with that. And first boyfriend Pauline over here probably is gonna have an issue with that. Yeah, Pauline, you dirty girl.
Now, if he asked me to watch one with him, I'd probably have to close my eyes for most of it. But who knows, maybe it could turn out to be fun. Where should I look next? Oh, how about his laptop?
Oh, we are really just digging around.
Laptop. Aha. Huh? It needs a password to boot up. What could it be? Maybe he used my name. Let's give it a shot.
Girl, you've been dating for 2 months.
Of course not. We've only been dating for 2 months. He wouldn't use my name for a password this soon.
I mean, stepping into the cybersecurity expert for a second, do not use your significant other's name for a password. It's a very bad idea. Or your pet's name, or any family member's name. Just don't use names.
There are still other things I can try. His birthday? Oh, nope, that wasn't it. All right, what about Nippon?
Wow, I know my English alphabet.
No, why would it be that? I'm running out of ideas. Oh crap, it locked me out! Now he's going to know I tried to get into it. This is bad, this is real bad. Is there any way to undo the lock? Footsteps! He's home, and he's coming this way! Crap, I need to find somewhere to hide.
Oh no. Pauline, girl.
Oh, the wardrobe, that looks big enough to fit me. Move your butt, Pauline.
My laptop's open. Did I leave it that way?
Shoot, he's gonna see I messed with it.
I suppose I must have.
Oh,
I'm in the clear now. Girl, you are hiding in his wardrobe. You are not in the clear. Pauline just eats the computer.
Wait, I didn't think this through at all. Hiding in here was a terrible idea, and now I have no way out. How airheaded can you be, Pauline? If you just said, oh, sorry, I left something here, you probably would have bought it without batting an eye. But you'll look like a total creeper if you just hop out of his wardrobe. On the bright side, it is kind of nice getting to see him in his natural habitat.
I peeked through the wardrobe's door, trying my best to keep my heart from leaping out of my throat. Oh my god. Pauline is not a natural-born criminal, we'll just put it that way.
When he was with me, he always had a pleasant smile, so there was something refreshing about seeing him stone-faced now. Obviously, it would be weird if he was always smiling to himself, but still, he looked almost like a different man when he was on his own. Finally taking my eyes off his face, I realized he was wearing a sweatsuit. Had he been out night jockeying or something? He liked physical activity, so by itself, that wouldn't be unusual. But what did seem off was him saying he had business to attend to and sending me home if all he was doing was going for a jog. He also looked exhausted. Was jogging supposed to wear you out so much? If you do it right, yes. It would probably take a lot out of me since I never got much physical activity, but unlike me, Yukimasa was in shape. Regardless, physical activity meant sweat, and sweat meant he would go take a shower next, right? And then I could sneak out while he was in there. I can't be bothered to take a shower tonight. I need to sleep.
Sir, you have blood on you. Like, please, that's a biological contaminant.
You can't be bothered? And there he goes. Right into bed.
Into bed with your outside clothes? That is the worst thing he's done so far, and I'm not even joking. Like, oh my god. He likes the blood on him. I don't care if he likes the blood on him. The blood is now on his sheets. Like, your bed should be clean. So much for that plan.
Who went to bed drenched in sweat anyway? That had to reek. Slovenly was the last thing I expected to find out he was. After a few minutes, I could see his chest moving slowly up and down. My good, strong, healthy Yukimasa was quick to fall asleep too. Well, yip-de-doo for him. As much as I wanted to stay here and watch him through the night, now that he was asleep, I could safely leave. I pushed the wardrobe door open, slowly and carefully, trying not to make a noise. The lights were off too, so I needed to be especially watchful of where I stepped so I didn't trip over anything. Tiptoeing my way towards the door, oh god, I'm so dreading this. Like, she is not gonna get out unassaulted, is how I'm basically expecting this to happen. I abruptly came to a stop. Maybe I could just climb in beside him. No! No! Girl! You just watched him covered in sweat and possible blood drop into bed, and you're like, you know what? What if I got in there? Like, it can't get any dirtier, right? People called me an airhead all the time, but even I had enough sense to realize how outrageous an idea that was. She wants a sniff. That is so cursed. No. Now, not only had I snuck into his house without permission, now I was thinking about sneaking into bed with him. It was like something out of a trashy romance novel. On the other hand, we were dating. Maybe he would think of it as a pleasant surprise. No, I don't think any rational person would wake up to when they went to bed alone, to wake up with someone next to them in bed and not completely freak out. Like, what? That was pushing my luck, wasn't it? He would wake up in the morning and see me there, and it would probably give him a really big scare. It might even creep him out so much he'd break up with me. It kind of does feel like a breakup. Like, that would be worth a breakup, yes. But still, the sight of him sleeping there, so innocent and vulnerable, was too much for me to resist. Oh no. Who wouldn't want to run their fingers along that big back or put their arms around that perfectly slender waist? Pauline, don't do this. Don't do it. My conscience was screaming at me to behave and go home. But the primal part of me pulled me closer and closer to the bed. I carefully lifted one knee onto the bed, and the mattress let out a deafening creak. No. My heart leapt into my throat, but the sound didn't seem to have woken Yukimasa. I stretched my arm out toward him. I'm so stressed out. Pauline is thirsty. Like, this is not who I expected this from. Also, Nellie also did something while Mel was asleep. Like, what is up with the women in this game going, you know what, you're asleep. Let me just crawl in there, man. With every passing moment, the pounding of my heart grew more and more intense. I worried the sound might wake him up. I brushed the tips of my fingers across his cheek, then through his dark hair. He showed no signs of waking. He was always the mature, older one, but it felt like we'd switched places now. The image brought a little smile to my face, quickly dissolving all the remaining tension in the air. Oh. It was safe to get a little closer, wasn't it? He wasn't going to wake up. No, he's just never going to wake up. He's just going to die right there and... My heart rate leapt back up as I lowered myself down into his bed, cuddling up next to him. Girl, even if he wasn't him, that man is gross. And you are in your outside clothes. Like, neither of you deserve a bed. Like, no bed for either of you ever again. There we go. Why do I feel something grinding on my crotch? Oh my gosh, I was actually in the same bed with him? How brazen of you, Pauline. Brazen is not the word. I could feel his breath on my lips as I gazed into his face. I was on cloud 9, and I wanted to keep going even higher. Rationally, I knew I had to get out before he woke up. But I was well past rationality at that point. Like, even if this goes completely well, and she does manage to make it out before he wakes up, this is so incredibly creepy. Like, In my excitement, it took me a few extra moments to notice the strange smell on his sweats. Something sharp layered beneath the scent of his sweat. I couldn't quite place it, though, so my curiosity would have to remain unsatisfied for now. As I lay there, basking in bliss, my eyelids started to grow heavy. Oh, God. No, Pauline, you can't go to sleep. You have to go home, and now! But as hard as I tried to push myself out of bed, it was just too warm and cozy here to. Oh, my God. I thought I was stressed out at Nellie, but no. I'm just so. Ugh. In my dreams, I'm drenched in fresh red blood. People dying all around me. Everyone dying. No, not simply dying. I'm killing them. A man begs me to spare his life, so I sever his head. A woman implores me that she's with child, so I disembowel her. A man invokes the name of his god, so I tell him I know no such deity. And the pile of corpses grows. Arms and legs, heads and torsos, entrails and brains. It's all there. It's everywhere.
My hot maid, I love you. I miss you.
In my shadow stands a maid with vacant eyes. I repeatedly trying to kill her, but she won't die, so I keep her. Grinning, I order the maid to take a body and make a meal of it. She does as I demand, serving me a human meat soup. The maid always wears a smile, but her madness can never compare to mine. I cackle uncontrollably, howl like a wild beast. Is that all, master? Are you not going to dismember me? You could try stabbing my face, or my neck, or my stomach, or any other part of me. Perhaps then I might die. Oh, now, don't look at me like I'm some exotic creature. A man who isn't a man. A woman who isn't herself. Imprisoned together in a dark, decrepit mansion. I believe the woman to be the witch, but the witch is elsewhere, looking down on me. Remember that you have always, always been a beast, incapable of saving anyone, only of taking. Remember and suffer. Agonize, writhe, anguish, grieve, suffer. Suffer! The witch is right. I've always been enamored with death, with killing. My hands are only capable of taking, not offering. I'm a monster. My lust for blood will always overwhelm any affection I manage to muster. That's the simple truth. Look at all the blood I've spilt. Look at me, cackling as I sit upon this mountain of bodies. Oh, Pauline, what are you doing there? You can't see me like this. Not while I'm a beast, driven by nothing but primal instinct. Stay back, or I might end up killing you too. Though, to tell you the truth, I've always wanted to kill you. With your chains, you bring tranquility to my world. You're the only one who can keep me tethered to the ground. And I can only imagine how incredible a release it would be to tear them off. I need you to live for me, and I long to kill you more than anyone else. But this is a dream. I have nothing to lose by indulging my desires. It's not real, so I have no need for a tether. It's not real, so I can do whatever I please. This is the one place I don't have to hold myself back. Pauline, Pauline, let me hear how you wail, and let me see how you writhe. Uh, I, I can't breathe. Yukimasa, wake up! I've been so miserable for so long. Roughing up low lives never did anything for me. It only staved off the hunger for a little. The only thing that can truly satisfy me
is the hope draining from the eyes of someone who made a real difference in my life.
What's gotten into you? Yukimasa, get off me!
Pauline's neck was even slighter than I had imagined. Leaning in slightly would likely be all it would take to snap it. I could feel her pulse on the palm of my hand. I could feel every gasp and grunt she forced out on my arms, my chest, my face.
Please stop! You're going to kill me!
A wave of ecstasy surged up within me. Dream or not, I was strangling her. At long last, I was squeezing the life out of her.
I can't breathe. Yukimasa, please don't kill.
At long last?
Get off it. Yukimasa. Why would you?
Something told me this wasn't the first time I had heard Pauline's dying gasps. Pauline, she believes in me. She put her faith in a beast and went out in search of him. I cannot allow myself to be the kind of monster that would murder a woman like her. I have to change. I will change the future. When my life here comes to an end, I vow to make my next one better. A fragment of a memory, a vow exchanged long ago. The pieces were too vague to see who or where it was, or even if it was a memory of something that actually occurred. But what did it matter? Why would I uphold a vow I knew nothing about in a dream? For years, I'd held back, fought the urges, kept my word. It didn't even matter if it was the first or the third time I'd killed her. This was a dream, and I was going to do as I pleased. That was the whole reason I was having the dream in the first.
Yukimasa.
This was a dream? This indescribably lifelike sensation was a dream? These incomparably vivid cries were a dream? No. No, they weren't. This isn't a dream. Pauline! The fog of my dreams rapidly receded, and my narrowed vision filled out. Pauline was splayed out limply beneath me. For a brief moment, I questioned what she was doing in my room, but quickly discarded the thought as unimportant. It's going to be important at some point, but I'll give him this. It is unimportant for this moment. Did I actually kill Pauline? Pauline, hey, Pauline, stay with me. Is she breathing? I put a hand on her chest and my ear to her lips, but nothing. She wasn't breathing. No, how could I? After I did everything in my power to stop myself from hurting you. Pauline! I shook her by the shoulders. I slapped her cheeks, but nothing brought the light back to her eyes. I'm trying to remember whether we've seen her at this point in the narrative. Pauline, please tell me you're not dead. I shouted her name. I shook her some more. I smacked her again. I repeated the cycle who knows how many times. But I got no more reaction out of her than a mannequin. Pauline, please, breathe for me, Pauline. Out of other ideas, but desperate to do something, I started performing CPR. I had no idea if I was doing it correctly, or even if it was the right thing to do in this situation. For as many ways as I could devise to kill a man, I was clueless about how to save one. But I couldn't just sit around and do nothing. Hands that only ever brought pain were now trying to reverse it. Fingers that knew only the taste of blood now sought to imbue life. I was painfully aware of the irony when these same hands had squeezed the life out of her in the first place. I blew air into her dozens of times, but Pauline's body remained limp. Sweat dripped from my forehead onto her ghostly white cheeks. With each new attempt to resuscitate her, the bed beneath us creaked like a screeching banshee. Pauline? Pauline! I shouted her name. I pressed the heel of my hand into her breast. I blew into her mouth. I had been going in circles for who knows how long, but her eyes remained murky and gray. Her mouth hung faintly open, but no sound slipped through her lips, neither her voice calling my name nor the wisp of her breath.
This was the moment I had so dearly longed for, yet all I felt was maddening despair. I had destroyed her once again. I had killed her yet again. I had failed to uphold my vow, failed to protect the one person I needed most, the one person who should have lived. This was proof I would never change, that I would always be a savage, bloodthirsty beast. No, even beast was too good for me. I was I was no more than a lowly fiend. It didn't matter how many tries you gave me. I would always travel down the same path. I should have I should have distanced myself from her before it reached this point, pushed her away. At least then she would be able to live in peace as she wished. I should have never let her in.
There we go. Yukimasa's downstairs neighbor. Like, keep it down. We get it. You're getting laid.
And when I reached the deepest depths of my thoughts, Pauline's throat spasmed. My eyes went wide, and the next second, she took in a huge breath. A glimmer had begun to return to her eyes. Pauline, what happened? Yukimasa? Oh, right. I remember now. Thank goodness. You're back to yourself. that, that's a relief. Pauline, I'm so sorry. I'm so very sorry for hurting you like that. Yeah, it hurt. But hey, I'm alive, so it's water under the bridge.
No, girl! Be mad at least for a little bit. Like, that man just killed you. If there's any reason to be mad, like, that's a really good one.
How was anything okay? She had been mere moments from death, and I had pushed her there. How could she be smiling at me like this when I had just strangled her? Why did she not berate me? Where did the overwhelming gentle warmth in her eyes come from? Pauline took a few minutes to catch her breath and collect herself, for which I sat and waited in silence. The only sound in the night was the rhythmic ticking of the second hand. She didn't make eye contact with me, and I obviously couldn't look her in the eyes, so time simply flowed like molasses between us. After what felt like forever, she let out a strained, "I'm all right now." I nodded, and then turned to her and handed her my phone. "Call the police. Turn me in. I'll confess to anything and everything." Uh, Her eyes went wide, but the confusion only lasted a few seconds, and her face quickly twisted into a grimace.
She wasn't a child. She knew good and well what I had done, that I had attempted to murder her.
We were assailant and victim. Before I do anything, I want you to talk to me. I want to know more about you, Yukimasa.
You want to talk? After I nearly killed you? Have you lost your mind?
Yes, I want to talk. I want to understand why. If you attacked me because you hated me, that would be one thing, but that's not what it was about, is it? There's another, better reason.
There was no better reason. I could claim I simply panicked, but what I did went far beyond any reasonable definition of panic. And even though I did believe it was a dream in the moment, my desire to kill her was no less sincere for it. Nothing I could say could possibly justify or explain away my actions.
To be clear, I don't want assurances. I don't want you to sugarcoat anything to make it palatable for me. I just want to know the real, genuine you. Her words cut off my train of thought. It was beginning to sound like she knew that the man I was around her was a mere facade. She looked me straight in the eyes. Her gaze was unflinching, determined. Are you serious? Do you really want to see what lies beneath the mask? Are you really prepared to cross that line? It's all right. I'm ready for anything. So please, tell me.
Are you absolutely sure about this, Pauline? Are you sure you want to shatter the illusion of me being a respectable boyfriend? Well, all right then. If you're really sure, then
Okay, I'll bite the bullet. I'll tell you everything, strip myself bare, and show you the hideous creature within. And so I laid everything out for her, the nature and the extent of my desires. That I had been deeply enamored with others' pain since I was a child. That anyone I interacted with, I was constantly imagining them dying. That I had not yet killed anyone, but I had done everything short of it. I told her where I'd been this evening, and that it was something I did regularly. And finally, I confessed to fantasizing about killing her too. She sat and listened quietly the entire time. Her only reaction was to occasionally grimace. My whole life I'd reveled in causing others pain, but seeing her so emotionally devastated, I felt a pang of regret for the first time in my life. This is why you need to turn me in, for your own safety as well as others. I'm barely able to stop myself from killing anyone now, but there's no saying when that dam might break. And even without that, they could easily hit me with a list of battery charges long enough to fill a book. It's more than enough to have me thrown behind bars. Allow me to apologize, Pauline, for all the pain I've caused, and for deceiving you into being with a man like me. You deserve to be with a man who deserves you, Pauline, not one who's twisted and broken like me. That's what I want most for you. If you can't report me, then I'll turn myself in. So, please, Pauline.
Out of the question. I won't turn you in, and I won't let you turn yourself in either.
But then
What made you willing to turn yourself in now, and not any of the other countless opportunities you've had? That you almost killed me? Which just goes to show how important I really am to you.
Pauline, I feel like you're kind of missing something here, but
Yes, you are, as I've said. I'm able to forget about the monster I am when I'm with you. But
Go on. I'm listening. Don't worry. I want to know how you really feel.
what I feel for you is not what you feel for me. I don't love you. You're the chains that keep my desires trapped away. I want you, but for entirely selfish reasons. My attraction to you is completely, utterly self-serving.
I'm going to deconstruct that for a second. When is love not utterly self-serving? Like, he's saying this like there's some sort of love that like you don't do, that like you're not in it for yourself, but like in a lot of ways, like the way that you at least start out, because you don't know that person and don't care about them enough, like it's always going to be self-serving at the beginning. It can grow. Don't be so hard on yourself, Yukimasa. You're just, you know, figuring out the human feelings and not the beast feelings.
Well, darn. So you really were always just going along with what I wanted, huh?
Her response was surprisingly cool-headed, considering I had just explicitly told her I didn't love her. But the smile she wore appeared to be on the verge of tears.
You have every right to cut me out of your life. I can't give you what you want, and you'll never be happy with me.
You know, my love for you is self-serving too, I think. These feelings, they make me happy, and I wouldn't still be here if they didn't. I don't love you for you. I love you for me. I mean, sure, it's kind of a bummer that you don't feel the same way. Like, wow, so it was all an act, huh? But it's sad, but it doesn't hurt that much. Like, I still mean a lot to you, though. We may not feel the exact same way, but that's so, so much better than you feeling nothing.
What on earth are you talking about? I just confessed to a litany of crimes. The only thing you should feel for me is repulsion. You need to get me out of your life now.
Exactly.
So, can we have sex now? You think that's not exactly what I want to do? But I can't. I can't just control how I feel.
I let out a gasp at her sudden outburst. No, it probably wasn't sudden. She was just acting collected and could no longer keep it up.
And how could I blame her? If anything, her reaction was still restrained for everything I had done.
I've been trying this entire time to make myself not like you, but it hasn't worked. Not one bit. I desperately want to cut you out, but I can't bring myself to. I know you've done terrible, horrible things, But I can't call the police on you, and I don't want anyone else to either. This this isn't easy for me. It doesn't make sense to me either. I care too much to just throw you away at the drop of a hat, and I don't know why. We've only been together for 2 months. I'm even more confused than you.
Pauline, I'm sorry.
Surely there was something more appropriate I could say to her, but a trite, uninspired "I'm sorry" was the best I could imagine.
She put her head in her hands and sobbed. And then after some time, she looked up, wrapped her arms around me, and squeezed.
Oh,
I've been thinking, and it seems like your mind is made a little differently than others.
You could say that.
So it's like when I see a puppy and start fawning over it, or my eyes go sparkly at a pretty outfit. The pleasure I get from things like that is tied to hurting people in your mind.
I suppose that's right. Although describing it that way makes it sound like nothing more than a difference in interests.
Sorry, but it makes sense to me that way. I can't imagine how difficult it must be for you. You have an uncontrollable desire for something our society has declared as wrong. It's not possible for you to both live in this world and have fulfillment. As long as you remain in this society, your only options are to live unfulfilled or become an outcast. It's miserable having to bury yourself like that. It's suffocating. It hurts not being able to share your interests with anyone. You've had to deal with that for so long. I feel terrible for you.
Don't. I don't deserve your sympathy. You should feel bad for the countless people I've hurt, not the one who hurt them.
You're right. That's what anyone else would do. You've done lots of terrible things, and your victims absolutely deserve sympathy. The whole world would revile you and feel bad for them if they knew. You've already got our entire society poised to turn against you. So you need at least one person who will acknowledge your pain. One person who will accept you for who you are. And I want that person to be me.
I used to think you were a sensible woman, but it seems I've misjudged you. You too have a fair few screws loose.
I probably do, yeah. Hey, I want to propose something. A mad request from a mad woman.
Yeah?
I've decided I can't leave you. I won't abandon you, and I won't stop loving you. So if you have to kill someone, make me your first.
What? You can't possibly be serious, Pauline.
I can, and I am. I don't want you to hurt anyone else. But if you do end up killing someone, I'd rather be dead than left behind to watch as you're dragged away from me.
this is two people that look, I love this, but also thinking about it from a more sane, logical standpoint, holy shit.
And then, once you've killed me, turn yourself in.
You're joking, right?
Do you think I would joke about that? Didn't you say I was the chains that kept you tethered to the ground?
Yeah, I did, but
Well, I'm putting my money on them being sturdy chains. Though I did almost lose that bet just tonight. Once the chains stop being effective, you'll lose control. So I want you to make me your first and last.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking is they would be great in Raging Loop. Like, this is exactly the same kind of thing.
Don't find a replacement for me.
God, you really mean it. You genuinely want to stay with me despite what I am.
I do. I can't control how I feel, and no matter what, I'll never be able to not love you. I think I may have my own set as well. Unbreakable chains of love.
Even after hearing his confession, I chose not to condemn Yukimasa, which I suppose made me as guilty as him.
I don't know that that's exactly how that works, but
But that was what I wanted, as crazy as it may have seemed to anyone else. Not that I was entirely confident in my decision either. In opening up to each other and coming to better know one another, a glimmer of hope had formed between us. But but how much longer would it be able to last? Would he be able to suppress his urges for another 10 years? 20? What about 30? The more I thought about it, the more uncertain I grew. But for the time being, I just wanted to treasure being able to be with him.
Can you reconsider the whole 3 or 4 children thing? Because I don't necessarily feel like that's maybe the best environment for children to grow up in.
That was the life I chose. Good morning, Yukimasa. Look, I borrowed your kitchen and made bacon and eggs. It's a little burnt, but it should taste fine.
Good morning, Pauline.
Why are you squinting at me like that?
I was just trying to figure out if last night was all a dream or not.
Nope, wasn't a dream.
Which is why you really should hop in the shower now.
You conked out after we were done, so you still smell pretty ripe.
I distinctly remember attacking those lowlifes last night. So it was all real then. It's only been one night, though. How could she possibly have come to terms with it so quickly? How on earth is she able to act so cheery? Although, I guess it's better than her being gloomy. It's such a bizarre juxtaposition. The normalcy of her cooking breakfast next to the fact that she knows I'm a monster. Oh, do I? Then I suppose I will take a shower first. Those eggs are going to be cold. Like, ew.
Oh yeah, one other thing.
Yes?
You can be yourself around me. You don't have to put on your usual facade.
If you're okay with that, then sure, I can. But just so you know, that means I won't smile anymore.
Oh, that's no big deal. I know the real Yukimasa now. I'll do just fine without the fake smile. I'm quite fond of the brusque, stone-faced you too. It's charming look.
If you say so. Thanks. I nearly killed her yesterday, yet here she is, a bright smile on her face. She may well be even more defective than me.
Ugh, I'm bored out of my skull. It's lunchtime and still not a single customer. When I started, I was like, hell yeah, free money. But it turns out the cost is my sanity. Good afternoon. Oh, for God's sake, every time. Well, if you don't want us, we'll happily leave. But we came to see you.
Exactly, you don't need a smile to be a good kisser. So, how about we share the shower? Like, come on, Pauline. Learn some lines. No, by all means. Bathe in the glorious light of your love. So, want the usual ham sandwich to go?
Yes, please. But we need a quick break before we go back out, so coffee first? And can we have the window seat?
Anywhere you like, my friends. The window, the counter, doing a strip show on the table. Take your pick.
Do you always have to be so crass?
You want to see her strip too, don't you, dude? Just think about it. Your girl starts taking off her clothes in public. You can't get action like that in bed.
Maria!
Nudity doesn't interest me terribly much. She can keep her clothes on if she wants. Seems like a weird thing to be saying as, her boyfriend. Was that maybe a touchy subject? No, I'm quite functional, thank you. Oh, great to hear. Anywho, you seem kind of different. More tight-ass than usual. You're not, like, fighting, are you?
Of course not.
In fact, I would say we're closer to now than we've ever been before. Really now?
We talked about it, and Yukimasa's gonna be himself from now on. He still has to pretend to be a good boy at work, though.
Oh, I see. Wait, huh? I mean, I did always get the feeling he was kind of fake, but you're okay with this, Pauline?
What? Is there anything to not be okay about?
Well, if you don't have a problem with it, who am I to judge? I get the distinct feeling they strayed even further off the path since the last time I saw them. Yep, maybe never tell Maria. Like, I don't think she'll understand. What the hell happened between these two? Not that it's my business. I should go make them their shit. Also, Pauline wearing an open collared shirt after she just got almost strangled to death. Like, girl has got to have bruises everywhere on her neck.
It's so nice out today. What do you want to do? We could go for a walk like last time, but what do you think about renting a movie?
I'm fine with that. What kind of movie did you have in mind?
A splatter film.
Do you honestly want to watch a splatter film?
Nope, not even the slightest. I wonder how other people see us. From the outside, we look like another happy couple, don't we? We can take a walk together on a beautiful summer day. We can go on a date together like any other loving couple. But wrapped around our interlaced fingers are a pair of invisible chains.
I don't know if that was a happy ending or not. I guess it kind of is. I despise the irrational and the unscientific. Phenomena perceived as miraculous or unexplainable are, by and large, the products of chicanery, tricks that fail to stand up to even the slightest scrutiny. Only fools and children sincerely believe in tripe like fate and destiny. What does anyone find in such nonsense? Are they merely trying to convince themselves their lives have purpose? The epitome of folly. I firmly believe anyone who's fallen for that is destined to get nowhere in life. Which is why, however vivid they may be, I cannot abide these memories I have of events I've never experienced, of emotions I've never felt. I'm standing in a wheat field I've never seen before, pleading with a girl I've never met. Will you say my name? I ask again and again, a desperate attempt to keep her from leaving me. It's a dream I've seen countless times now, and when I awaken from it, my chest is tight and I'm short of breath. It's a bitter blend of longing and loss, a heart smitten with a realm of unknown, feelings that do not easily lend themselves to words. But the most intense of them all is despair at being separated from the girl. I can see her so clearly in the dream, yet the moment I return to reality, she's nothing more than an indistinct fog. There are no words for how absurd it all is. Me, yearning after a girl I've seen only in my dreams. Makes me want to give myself a nice solid punch to the jaw in the hopes I wake up. I love how like this is so weird because if you think about Jacopo's life, this isn't even like him remembering the past. This is him remembering a universe that never happened, which is amazing. It's probably a result of all the stress I'm under. But there is a rational explanation, one which relies on neither fate nor miracles. I keep telling myself to forget all about it, to move on with my life. But from somewhere deep within my breast, my very core, I stop myself. You must never forget. Cherish those feelings. For it's thanks to your time in that realm that you are alive in this one now. Reincarnation, the River of Oblivion. And we're going to end here for tonight because I think that's a really nice kind of um, segue. You get a little teaser for the next one or something like that. Next stream is Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. I think I will also be solo. So usually these streams are group stream nights. Mana's doing something else. Lemur's brother just had dental surgery, so send her all your love and care because she's having to take care of her brother. So, and send him your well wishes as well. So I believe I will still be solo on Thursday. Sunday we may go back to Resident Evil would be my guess, but we'll see how this week goes. I will pass along your luck. I don't think I have any more announcements. I got nothing. Thanks for hanging out, all. Below is the link to our YouTube channel. You can go catch up on any of our old stuff. So if you somehow missed the base game or any of the other stuff that we have played, go check it out. That's all I got. Have a good night. Bye bye. And of course, the pop up wants to happen right as I